Hey, good morning from our little tiny hobby farm. I was just out here this morning checking on the worm business. This is my little area for my worm bins. I raise European night crawlers as well as red wigglers, and I do that for the purpose of depleting our food waste in the kitchen, scraps. I actually compost all of our cardboard boxes that come from deliveries through the mail, and I'll show you what I mean. So basically, can you see that? So this is all cardboard that I've put through my office shredder, and I remove all of the tape from them before I do so. Here's some lettuce here. And anyway, this is a red wiggler bin. Let me see if I can get down here and show you some of the worms and what they're doing. Well, there's some moving around in there. They're down a little bit further right now in the soil. There they go. I don't know if you can see that, but yeah, so this is one of my red wiggler bins. I don't know how to turn this around while I'm videoing, so I'll turn myself around. This is a new bin we built that will be another red wiggler bin. And then this one here is a new one we just did. I currently have some adult and some juvenile European night crawlers in this bin. And this bin right here is nothing but European night crawler cocoons, and those are their eggs. And I don't know if you can see, but right there is an egg, right there is an egg, right there is an egg. They're everywhere in this bin, and at some point within the next probably 14 days they will hatch, and I'll continue to grow my worm business. Anyway, here is another European night crawler bin, and right in this one, I'm actually fattening these guys up for bait size worms, because where we live is very heavy with fishing, and we get a lot of people travel up here to fish all of the multiple lakes we have up here. So let me see if I can find a nice fat juicy worm to show you the size that they get once. Well, so here's one that is starting to fatten up, but he's not as fat as he could be. And it's a process that I do and feed these guys to get them bait size. We might have to come back for a different video later to show you a good sized worm. Let me check the next bin over. Hold on. I'm digging and they're digging, trying to hide from me right now. Let me see. Well, here's a nice fatty too, right there. Getting there. They still are out another, I don't know, probably 8 more days of fattening up before their actual bait size, or at least what I like to consider bait size. Anyway, so I actually started composting worms simply for depleting our, what we were putting into the landfill and using it to our advantage. So their worm castings, which is their poop, is amazing soil conditioner and kind of like a fertilizer would be. And, you know, I put all the food scraps in there, leaves, the cardboard boxes from the mail delivery and such. And I use it in my garden as well as, let me take you over and show you. I have a large garden up on the side of my property, but then I have this area here. So we always have visitors when I'm out in the garden and watering. Look at how gorgeous he is. I have one that follows me everywhere, and he's greenish yellow. We'll see if I can find him in the tour today. Anyway, so in this used to be a cold frame my dad built for me to start seeds in, and it had a shower door, glass shower door on here, and it shattered, unfortunately. So here is some, I believe, sweet basil, the first couple rows, and then this is some big leaf basil. And then I don't know what is up with the oregano, but it's slowly beginning to come up. And then some cilantro. And then here are my bigger basils. This is a lemon basil on either end. And then big leaf basil here. And then my mint and my spearmint. Unfortunately, it was in a location that I forgot to water for a full day in 100-degree weather, and I tried to kill it, so it's over here with everything else now. These are my calendula flowers, which I use to infuse oils for my salves, homemade salves, and lotion sticks. Look at him. Can you see him down there in between the thing? He's just listening. Anyway, so here I have my grape tomatoes, which I've got a couple turning beautifully red for me. There's 2 grape tomatoes here. There's 2 big beef tomatoes here. And there's 2 whopper tomatoes here. And the calendula in between. I have a really cool drying rack that I hang over there on my loofah arch, but it's down right now because we had some pretty gnarly winds the other day. And then right next to the tomato bed is my strawberry patch. And we just added this top on because I was having issues with some squirrels and some birds. So this is 1/2-inch hardware cloth so that bees can still get in and pollinize for me. And we've been eating strawberries off of here, and they are so sweet. The second I put them in my mouth, my salivary glands just go on overboard. Here are some Shasta daisies that I have divided from this right here, and we'll be selling. And then here is my loofah arch. Now, this is the first time I've done the arch. We were using an old dog kennel to grow a chain link dog kennel to grow them on the last 2 years. This is my 3rd year growing loofah. Let me tell you, they are very, very finicky. They will grow when they want to, and you can start them indoors and think you're getting a head start, and the second you put them outside, they go into a mode where they're like, nope, we're pissed off, and we are not going to grow for you for at least a month. And then all of a sudden, they will just go like crazy. I do feed them, as you can see. I fed them last night. That brown looking stuff is mealworm frass, and this green looking stuff are weeds that don't belong here. So let's pick them real quick. There we go. Anyway, so that brown stuff down there is mealworm frass. I give my frass to them at least every 2 weeks. And as you can see, they are doing amazingly. I'm getting loofah and lots of flowers starting to come. and they are doing amazing this year compared to last year. I don't know what it is, but this is the biggest leaves I've gotten, and they just look super healthy this year. I don't know what I did differently except for the new location. Well, I do know what I did differently. I take that back. So the 2 years previously, I'd been growing them in a 5-gallon nursery pot. So like that size right there. And as you can see, these are dead Shasta daisies that I just didn't have time to get to before it just got super hot and burned them all. This one's in a bucket so I can keep watering them. Anyway, so yeah, I started them, and that's what I grew them in, and had drip lines set up in them. Here's more calendula, again, that I use for my salves and lotion sticks. And so that is what's different. So this is just a bed made of a 2x6, 8 foot long. And I want to say maybe 18 inches wide. And it's just got nothing but some soil, some kind of like a potting mix, and some worm castings from my European night crawlers and red wigglers, as well as the frass. And then I think maybe a bag of something like Harvest Supreme or something, soil amendment type stuff. And so yeah, they've taken off this year and just done amazingly. As you can see, look, they're growing up and over. This is a 3 cattle panels put together. Is that right? Yeah, 3. So hopefully by the end of this season, this whole entire thing will just be filled with loofah and hanging down in between, which I'm super excited to get to that point. But I was out here yesterday and happened to notice all sorts of, trying to find the ones. Okay, so here's a loofah getting ready to come out. There's a loofah right there, possibly another one right there. They're gonna be all over. It looks like I'm gonna get quite a few this year, which I'm very stoked about. As I got lots of flowers gonna be coming out too, all sorts of them. Anyway, I don't like to have to buy loofah, and I like to make soaps, and I have my future son-in-law, my daughter's fiance, absolutely loves sometimes you got to train these guys to, let's weave it back through here so it's got something to lean it. There we go. And then this way. Anyway, he loves my loofah soap on a rope. He says it's amazing for his elbows that get dried out. So I don't like to run out. But I also love to use them in the shower and for my face. They're so soft for your face. And I don't think they get real, when they're wet, they get real soft. So they're perfect for washing your face and your body, and great to get the dead skin off of and stuff. So anyway, all right, so here we go, onward. I've got some potting happening here. This little pen here was actually divided into, you can see there's 2 ramps up to 2 separate spots, and here's the nesting boxes that I get to from the outside. And I used to have 2 different breeds of birds in here, so it was all divided. But we opened it up, and initially the plan was to have this be my grow out pen for my chicken breeding project. Instead, I believe it's turned into, oh, this girl's getting picked on still. She's trying to grow in her feathers. So I have 2 different breeds of chickens. These are Coronation Sussex. And as you can see, little Miss Beautiful here, she has pigeon blue hackle feathers. Yes, we're talking about you. Anyway, so that's what's in this pen. I have 5 hens in here, and we lined it with these concrete blocks to help prevent digging of any predators. And I'm going to actually, this is my soil mixture area, and I'll be putting soil into those and planting flowers along the outsides of the coop just to make it super cute. So anyway, what you are seeing down here on the ground, if you saw that, are remnants of barley fodder that I grow. When COVID hit, I just felt that it was really, in our best interest to find the cheapest, healthiest way to feed our chickens, and not have to spend a fortune on commercial feed. And so I grow barley fodder for them every day, and I grow my mealworms, and they love their mealworms. These are a few that I ended up with. Sorry, it's wanting to focus on the hardware cloth. So these 3 are just some that broody hen of mine. This is a light Sussex. So instead of the pigeon blue hackles, it's got the black hackles and tail feathers. So this is our breeding pen specialty that my husband and my son and I built. Let me back up and show it to you from afar. So it's one big thing, but 3 separate compartments. That right there is Big Jake, and he is my young cockerel. He's not fertile yet to start breeding with my hens over there, but the center one has become kind of a storage thing for right now, because Rooster Cogburn, that usually is in that pen, is over with the light Sussex hens over here. I'll go show you these guys. Oh, let me show you how beautiful Mr. Big Jake is. Big Jake is a beauty. Hi, Big Jake. Let me come in so you don't try to get out. Hi, buddy. Hi. Yes, he's a handsome boy, huh? He's a handsome boy. It's okay. It's okay. So there's Big Jake. He has just started cock-a-doodle-doing in the last 3 or 4 days. And it sounds horrible, but so cute all at the same time. Okay, now let's go over and show you the big coop. Here's the big coop. And there's Rooster Cogburn. All right. Hi, buddy. Hi, girls. Well, good afternoon to you too, buddy. Hi. Hi, handsome. Yep. That's Rooster Cogburn and his 6 girls. I built them a picnic table last year, and so here's their... Okay, well, you have to cooperate with the video taking this morning, mister. Sorry. It is still morning, isn't it? So anyway, there's, I'm going to show you this. Look at that big root mass. Look at that big root mass that happens. And that all happens in about 5 to 6 days of growth. So I am barely having to give them, between the fodder, the mealworms, I'm barely having to, put a little bowl of pellets, layer pellets. Okay, seriously, you're not usually this vocal while I'm out here? You just know that I'm on, you're just like a kid. You know I'm on the phone. Anyway. All right. So there's Mr. Rooster Cogburn and the girls. And here's my bunnies. My 2 girls. And my buck is over there. These are broken sable rexes. And I use their manure to feed the worms, but also to put into my compost bins. And this is a fresh compost bin we just started a few days ago. And it's got grass clippings in there, as well as some cardboard and kitchen scraps and some weeds from the garden. It'll heat up enough to kill the weed seeds. And if you take a look here, my hot composting is actively steady. So that's good. This pile should be done pretty soon. And this pile was created with nothing but some coffee grounds and filters from the house, some kitchen scraps from the house, and all grass clippings from the baseball field at my son's high school that my husband coached at, as well as took care of the field. And then here we have my nectarine tree that the kids bought me for Mother's Day last year. I guess it would have been last year. Yeah. So we got some nectarines growing on here. I'm not sure what all these spots are, but it's weird. And then I have an apple tree. It didn't get fruit this year. It was too late on blooming, and we got a frost. And then here's my peach tree, and it is covered in peaches. Covered in peaches. Fuzzy little peaches. And then walk around here. Oh, more calendula in the orchard. My husband calls this his little orchard. I have 2 pairs right there. Right there and there. Okay, so we're done with the animals, except for we have 2 cats and a dog in the house. Here is the big garden. It's roughly about 24 by 36. And I need to get some weeding done at the back of it by the corn, but it's pretty good here. I've got some raspberries here, some Chileno peppers, which there's getting peppers on already. Yay. There are 8 Roma tomato plants here. These are sugar baby watermelons that I wanted to grow up the trellis, but man, they like overnight just took off, and I couldn't get them all to go up and train them up. So they're just going to do their own thing this year, and I really don't care about that. I've got my zucchini here, which is being abundant right now. I've already harvested 5, and there's probably another 3 in there ready now. I don't know what happened here, but this whole thing was filled with cucumbers. This one's hanging on by a thread, but 1, 2, 3, so 3 of them died because I had a 6-pack. These other 2 are doing phenomenal, and we should have cucumbers not long from now. And then this whole row right here is nothing but hatched New Mexico chilies, except for the far one down on the end is a jalapeno. But these are hatched New Mexico chilies, the Sandia variety, so they're going to be a little toasty hot. And there you go. There's some amazingly gorgeous hatched New Mexico chilies growing on this one. Here are a couple more tomato plants that do not have great support right now. They are just flopping everywhere, but that's okay. We'll get it figured out. These are big beef tomatoes. And back there in all of those weeds, there's some garlic. And then all of our corn. And then right over here on the other side of the corn are serrano peppers. So we'll be making lots of salsa this year with 16 tomato plants. The Romas will pretty much take care of all the salsa. The other varieties, the big beef and the whoppers and those will take care of, slicing tomatoes for burgers or just eating with a couple basil leaves and some tahini or something. All right, figured I'd turn it around so you can see my face instead of the ground as we're walking away. And then obviously the grape tomatoes will be salad tomatoes. And then I actually have I still have to get my blackberries in the ground. I bought a couple blackberry plants and I've been watering them inside the house until we can find a spot. I was almost thinking about doing it on the side of the breeder pen, but it's right by the gate and we have to be able to drive into the gate every like 10 years that our septic system has to get pumped out. 5 or 10 years, I forget what it is. So I'm not really sure if that's a wise idea to do it there, but I think I'm going to, because it will give, yes, I'm talking about you, Big Jake, a little bit of shade in the afternoon. I mean, he's got the shade behind the plywood there, but it comes in pretty good and really heats up his water there. And then I don't know if you'll be able to see this. Oh yeah, you can kind of see it. So right here, my husband built me a big long planter that's on the back side of our backyard fence. Our backyard literally goes way out there, but our backyard ends right here. So I gotta bring in some soil to be able to plant back there. I have some 4 elderberry plants that I would like to put in that spot out there. So anyway, that was a little tour of my little hobby farm. Cruising the Sierra farm, and lots of changes happening here. So just inside my back door is my shelf until I have a shed specifically made for this, where I keep and grow my mealworms. So these are the beetle bins, and these are the egg and actual mealworm bins. And then I also, just this side of it, have my fodder system that I do. So if you notice, there's no soil. It's just they get watered, and there's drain holes that drain down into the next one. This will be fed tomorrow. And this is literally like 5 to 6 days growth. So, well, it's probably 5, and then tomorrow will be day 6, and it'll be fed on day 6. But if you look at the root mass here from the one I showed you outside. I mean, it's just so super thick. And they eat it all. They eat the seeds. They eat the seeds that didn't germinate. They eat the seeds that are attached to the bottom of the roots, or I guess the top of the roots, the bottom of the actual grass. So, and they eat it all. And it's, here's a picture of like early on. This is like day probably 3. It's amazing how fast it actually grows. And then here you can see, these are the mealworms that I set aside. I set aside so many of them to turn into pupa. You see them wiggling around? I'm gonna show you what a pupa is, because here's one right here at the very top. So the worms turn into that. That is a pupa. And I have a specific pupa bin that these go into right here. And those turn into beetles. And then from here, they go into one up, which is the beetle bin. And then the beetles mate and lay their eggs, and the process starts all over again. So there you have it. That is a little tour of my little hobby farm. I hope you guys all have a great day, and come back and see me again later.